So with Mr. Charlie, we were going to practice a little bit with some more of our toy exchange. What I would like to try with him is to do, again, have one item come alive and go get that one. And then for retrieving that item, see if I can get him to come back and grab the second item. So for right here, nice. I'm going to go ahead and show him the new one, toss that bad boy, and have him go grab it. So the benefit of working with two toys or multiple items is you can start to help your puppy let go of the original to then get the new one. So again, we might go ahead and see if we can release, yes, and then go grab the next one. So if he wasn't doing as well with relinquishing the first toy, I would do a little find it. If let's say he was having a rough time, I'd go right into a little find it, plop a little item down. Then from there, make the next one come alive. And he's like, hold on, lady, I like snacks. He might also be getting a little bit tired, but we'd make the next toy come alive. So we'll see if maybe he wants to go grab it. If he's more toy driven at other points and more food driven throughout the day, we may find sometimes the rotation can be a good way to boost both options for him. Yes. So then as he lets go of the first, we make the next one come alive and we can go play with that one. So ready? Charlie. Nice. So we might go drop or give or out and show him the new one. Go get that one. Nice. So as he's playing, the toy continues to move and play with him as we relinquish the first one. So notice if he has a hard time letting go and he's like, no, I'd really love to eat it all by myself. This is where you could, again, show him the new one, and then he relinquishes the original, and you can bounce back and forth. If you're finding that as you're reaching for him, he is then having a hard time, don't go right into the grabbing of the puppy. Make it where, again, we might even go, again, drop it, and then show him the new one. Ready? Yes, go get that guy. And then if that one, he's getting tired. But if, let's say, he's got more oomph in him and he wants to go chase the ball, what a good boy, then he could go and grab that second item. We are getting to the end of his day, so he's maybe getting a bit fatigued. So bouncing back and forth between the two toys. He was also playing earlier with the flirt pole, so he might be getting a little bit winded. So Charlie, come. So if let's say he's not as toy driven right now, we can simply work a few other skills other than with these toys. So let's say maybe he's not as in love with the tennis balls as he was earlier. We could go ahead and go, he's like, yes, ma'am, this one seems much more intriguing. So if he's going and doing some popping, I might ask him for this little sit or anticipate a sit. Feed for it to create value in choosing to settle for a few moments. And then for doing so, ready, go get it. And now the toy is alive. So I know we did a little bit of play last time too for Mr. C. He is very toy driven, which is splendid. So you may find for Mr. C, the more you can rotate through things he finds reinforcing or appealing, the more connection you can create with your puppy. So of course, being a hunting dog, as we've mentioned earlier, he might have more drive to do other things like catching critters or letting you know all about where they might be located. And then that can sometimes get a little noisy, obviously, because he is a lovely hound. So, excuse me, as he's practicing, he's grabbing the toy, we might go ahead and see if we can do a little drop it. Yes, and feed for that. Nice. And then we're going to go ahead and go find it or go grab it. And then sometimes too, you might want to have slogans for different things. So I might say, go get it. And now my toy comes alive and we can go play with the toy again. So if you prefer different slogans, obviously let me know if there's one that you prefer. If he sometimes goes and grabs for a different part of the toy, you can still be playing with him, but I would make sure that he's grabbing for a zone where he's not going to hurt you at the same time. So this is where the longer rope toys or tuggies are beneficial. Because as he's learning about appropriate play or how to engage with you guys versus another dog or versus just a toy by himself, is that we want him to get comfortable grabbing for the zone that's not going to have your hands involved. So right here, tugging is wonderful. Get your pups nice and tired. You do want to every once in a while allow them to, of course, rotate, and sometimes they're playing and you say, oh my gosh, such a strong dog, and you let them win the toy. So that way, again, it's not them conquering the world or taking over the totem pole of power. What your puppy is then thinking is, I finally caught the critter and we brought it down. So again, let's say he's doing a great job. We might go right into a little find it, get him to think that relinquishing the toy is not threatening or overwhelming like we mentioned last time, then get his attention and then go, ready, Charlie, you ready? Go get it. And now again, the toy is alive. He's like, lady, I almost caught it. And they can catch that bad boy. Nice job, Charlie. What a smart man. So and then too, as he's getting more fluid, you could go again, ready, Charlie, drop it. Yes, and start feeding the let go, and other times as opposed to feeding, play once again. So if he's finding the toy to be very, very fun, make sure the reinforcement could also be playing again, like we were doing a little bit with the tennis balls. But I know he is getting a little tired, so we may find that sometimes his abilities start to not be quite as refined. So if you're finding that when you're playing with him, it's becoming too overwhelming in the sense that he's becoming more flustered, and that could equal more jumping, more mouthing, even more mounting. If you're getting mounting, that tends to be your dog is overwhelmed and overtired. He could also be over aroused, not again sexual, but instead more flustered and so tired that his better option as opposed to wrestling would be, let's just try mounting instead. So it could be your puppy is definitely needing more of a nap or break to take that little moment and help him settle and take a little nap. Nice job, Charlie. So he's doing a real nice job with his lovely take it and drop it's. So ready, we might go, Charlie, drop it. Yes, and feed for that. Good job. So remember, as he starts to get more comfortable with certain skills, you want to start asking for the cue word and maybe even the visual. So if, let's say in the beginning we were doing, nice job, a drop it with a hand near his face, we might start to associate empty hand with the letting go. And you could then go ahead and say drop it, and then he relinquishes the item. Nice job, Mr. C. But he's doing a real nice job with some of these lovely play moments. You ready? Let's go get it. Ready? Oh, he says his friend is back. So if Charlie is a bit tired, we want to make sure that he's not going to use the friend as a target. So here, Oren, if Charlie goes right into jumping, because remember, this is him saying I'm overwhelmed or overtired, we'd either want to go into some find it or give Oren a few toys or items to do instead. So here's some food. I wouldn't wrap it around you, just hold the handle and then you can pull it around. So if Charlie wants to play with Oren for a few moments, perfectly fine. Just watch out you don't bump into the wall. And then when he's playing, the toy is alive, and keep it sort of low on the floor, so less of Mr. C jumping up high. So now see, Oren, if you could show him a little bit of the food and say, drop it. That's all right. So show him the hand right there. Drop it. So you can even put the food right on the floor. Nice. So just go ahead and feed for the let go. So now you might even do a little find it if you wanted to make him go a little further away, and then you could try again. So go ahead. The toy is alive now. If he's jumping on you, try to keep the toy on the floor. He says, or we could eat your arm. So if your puppy gets a little bit confused, remember he is a bit tired. I would highly recommend is to keep the toy low on the floor so he can reach the toy. If he's jumping up high, it could be because he's thinking that the handle might be the toy part he's supposed to grab. So again, this is where I'm saying when you're working through play, both the puppy and you have to learn how to work the play together. Nice. So he thinks this is quite funny. And then let's say he's doing a great job. We could go again. Ready, Charlie? We've had that lovely drop it. We might even do a find it to create distance, and then you could play again. So I do normally recommend that adults tend to be the ones playing at times with puppies, and doesn't mean there aren't games that you can do with your puppy and your small little one. Sorry about touching the mic. But if, let's say, your puppy is getting a little confused and they're going for the child instead, remember that could be your puppy, and I wouldn't do that, Oren, because as he jumps to follow it, he'll probably jump on you. So keep it on the floor. So remember that sometimes when someone else is learning how to play with your puppy, it might take some time to help them generalize how to do it from the puppy's perspective and the child. So see if you can get him to go ahead and play, and he might be really pooped out, but he'll try another little round. So keep him towards this little bubble so we can all see him be playing and working his skills. Nice. Beautiful. And then two, you can always let Mr. C sometimes win the toy. So let's say he's playing, he's tugging, you let him go ahead and have the toy so you can let go. Nice. And then he feels like I finally caught it. And then we could feed him for that lovely moment of relinquishing the toy. He's like, let's play again. So again, keep him wiggling. So just move him around. Sometimes he gets a little excited. So remember, he's working through that overexcitement. He's also working that on-off switch. But two, remember now he's starting to realize that we could do playing with somebody new versus eating them up as well. Nice. So again, we might do, ready? Charlie, drop. Yes. And feed for that lovely letting go. He says, and I'm ready. So this is where I'd keep the toy low. Remember how I mentioned keep the toy on the floor? So if your little ones get confused and they start to pick the toys up, remember that sometimes the puppies try to reach them halfway by leaping into them and the toy. So this is why I prefer toys that are low or the exchanging of toys, especially with littles helping. If your babes, again, start to resource guard or are having trouble there, I wouldn't recommend children participating in those situations because they won't know what to do and the dog might get overwhelmed. And we are trying to prevent bites from happening in the first place. So if Charlie's getting a little tired, Oren, stand still and then stop wiggling, and then we can kind of help again. But if you're moving and jostling the thing, he might still think we're still playing. So, but we'll give Mr. C a little break from this game in just a moment. He is really doing quite a lovely job. Don't wrap it around you, just only hold the handle. Ready, Charlie? So we might get a little name recognition, yes. But notice how he's able to bounce from the toy and then check in with me versus going and playing. So the fact that we're able to bring him out of that excitement zone and back into sort of checking in or working a different skill means that we're being able to build some of this on-off behavior or creating that sort of driviness and then coming back to thinking again. But remember, sometimes you play until the point that your puppy gets so tired there is no brain left over. You may get only all mouth. So be careful with how you're playing, not because your puppy's going to be mean, but because your puppy might start to think that mouthiness or over exuberance might be the thing you're looking for, and then it might create the opposite effect of what you were hoping to do with some play as an outlet. So ready, drop? Yes, and we'll feed for that lovely let go. Nice job, Charlie. And we'll give Mr. C a little break from this playing. He's like, nope, I'm not done yet. But he did a really good job with the take it and drop it and working some of these games.